ones that packaged it, not UPS. They're the ones that packaged it in a shitty bubble envelope.
Yep.
Instead of a box with like some kind of stuffing in it to make sure that it does not become damaged. And here we are.
Yep.
Fuck, man. It is the SuperClash podcast, a podcast about shorter games. It is episode 66. I am your host, Kale.
Hey, it's Connor.
And how was your week, Connor?
It was okay, I guess.
Yeah, it felt fast enough, even though, I don't know, man. I'm just glad it's Labor Day weekend.
It is, so we get a 3-day weekend.
Fuck, man, and I really need it.
Yeah.
Like, I was starting to feel some pretty severe burnouts, just going to work, and then when the weekend rolls around, I need an entire, like, Saturday in order to, fully recover. But by the time Sunday rolls around, I get all depressed because I have to be back to work.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to be completely relaxed. So I'm really glad that I have Monday off because I can actually enjoy my Sunday and then get depressed on Monday.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's delayed by one day. So, but off the air, we were just talking about the whole Last of Us Part 1 snafu. You guys probably heard a little tidbit of it as the intro music was going on, and at the time of this recording, it's already getting quite a bit of traction. Hell, your tweet about it got featured on a news site.
Yeah. So basically what happened is anyone who ordered the Last of Us Firefly edition, which was only sold through PlayStation Direct, they all received their units today on release day. However, for what seems like quite a bit of the recipients, they received it in a bubble mailer that was torn and smashed to shreds. And this, $100 collector's edition is inside. And so I was one of those unfortunate people. When I received the package, my heart sank. I saw the UPS driver walking up because I was mowing the yard, and he had a bubble mailer that was torn open on the end, like it had been opened, and I could see crushed white box on the inside. And I was like, that's it, isn't it? And he scans it and gives it to me, and I'm just looking at this thing like, oh my gosh. So I snap a picture before even taking it out, pull it out, and like every corner of this box is crushed. And I'm like thinking to myself, why would they send this in a bubble mailer if it's a $100 collector's edition that scalpers are already selling for over $1,000?
I was just about to say that scalpers are already selling it for $1,000. This is ridiculous.
And the funny thing is that this exact same day, I got a package from Barnes & Noble. One book was inside of it. One book. And they packaged it in several layers of cardboard. Like,
good
bro,
on you, Barnes & Noble.
Yeah. If you can spare what was it? I mean, they probably get all these boxes and shit. It cost, 50 cents to 75 cents probably for those boxes. And PlayStation skimps out to save a few pennies. Like, what the hell?
And the article said that they're not planning to replace it?
Yes. So when I reached out to support, and I said, hey, can I get a replacement for this? And at first they told me, they said, we can run the replacement request. However, you're going to have to take it to a store, a UPS store, mail it back to us, and once we receive it, it'll take about 10 days to process, and then we'll ship you one in about 2 to 4 business days. And I said, I told the customer, or asked the customer service person, I said, would this be a good response for you to receive? Would you be a happy customer? And they said, no, I wouldn't like that. And so I'm like thinking to myself, why would anyone at PlayStation think, yeah, that's a reasonable request to ask?
Why are you paying out of your own pocket money to send it back to them?
And time, too.
Mm-hmm.
My time, my gas to go do it. And I'm without the game for at least 2 weeks.
And I was really excited for you because I knew you bought this Firefly edition because you and I both love this game, and we were super excited to be able to experience this game with like a more powerful engine, and then this shit happens.
Yeah.
Like,
and so I posted it on Twitter, and after I posted it, it started getting some traction, but then I realized there's a ton of other people this is happening to. And so one of the people, also a Kansas City native, he reached out to support, and they basically told him, we can't process a refund, or sorry, we can't process a replacement. We can give you a refund if you mail it back to us, and we'll give you a 20% off coupon.
Bullshit.
Isn't that a shitty response?
That is by far one of the worst customer service responses I have ever heard.
Yeah. And
a limited edition, something that's limited edition, and they're like, no, we can't replace it for you, or we can't do anything for you, so you have to send it back and you're out of a game. It's like, what the fuck, PlayStation?
it's ridiculous. And most of the boxes, they taped the lid for the bubble mailer onto the game itself, so the tops of them all have like sticky residue.
Fucking break.
Yeah, the box is basically like, it's trash. Like, I wouldn't want to keep that. And now I really don't know what to do. My only hope is that because these verified news sites have picked it up, and some of these sites had 70K plus followers, I'm hoping this is enough to shake the hornet's nest to make Sony do something.
Maybe, like, I think once, like, Yong maybe starts reporting it, maybe that's when shit will start getting real.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm a little guy in the whole thing, but the thing was, let me look at my tweet right now.
Go ahead.
I am one person. I only have a little over 1,000 followers, and my tweet has 70 likes, 15...
Sorry, go ahead.
My tweet has 70 likes, 15 retweets, and 28 comments.
Jeez.
So...
Yeah. Nothing on some of the major news channels on YouTube yet. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. That was an autoplay video. But man, this is just so shitty.
I don't know if anything will come of it, though. The last thing I did was I denied their request to send it back to them, and I said, can you escalate this to a manager? And they said, yeah, we'll have somebody get back to you within 4 days. 4 business days, as I should say. 4 business days.
So in other words, by the time Tuesday rolls around, they would have forgotten all about it. Most likely.
Probably. And that just pisses me off,
man.
Man.
That is just so unfortunate.
Yeah. So, note to self, don't order anything from PlayStation Direct unless you have 0 other options. And even if you do, expect it to be a disappointment.
Yeah. So, and you know what's also kind of a disappointment? Halo Infinite, 343 Industries, has a... What?
Oh, no, I was going... Mm-hmm.
Okay. 343 Industries has announced that they are canceling the plans to include split screen in Halo Infinite.
That pisses me off
so
bad.
That pisses me off to no end. Okay, I don't have an Xbox, but I've played Halo Infinite, and it's really fun. And they always said there'll be split screen. There'll be split screen. What the hell is 343 Industries doing with the Halo IP?
Dude, you know that I told you when I think you asked me if I was going to play the campaign or something like that. I said, I'm going to wait for the co-op to come out, and then I'm going to play through it. And the fact that they did this, it feels like a false advertising lawsuit waiting to happen.
I think there's going to be a class action lawsuit.
There's got to be, because they advertise that as a selling point.
So is it just split screen that they canceled, or did they scrap co-op altogether?
Co-op's gone.
That is fucking bullshit. With an open world,
yeah,
Halo, that is gold for co-op.
Yeah, they said co-op's a no-no. So that's bullshit because I wanted to play it with people.
What changed? Like,
I think
is it not possible in the new engine? Because I call bullshit on that.
I think it's this new trend that I have seen probably in the past 5-10 years I guess not as new, but it's been happening slowly, where these studios are caring less and less and less about campaigns and games, to the point where they probably were looking at all the things that they still needed to put out for this game, saw the co-op campaign, and were like, nobody plays a campaign, and then just went on and said they're going to focus on the other stuff, all the online shit.
But you know what? This is my theory. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, Halo Infinite has a lot of microtransactions in their competitive multiplayer.
Yeah.
And with my tinfoil hat on, I think they're following in the shadow of Grand Theft Auto, because Grand Theft Auto had single-player DLC planned, and then Grand Theft Auto Online was such a massive success that they just scrapped single-player DLC completely, and they've even abandoned Red Dead Online as a result. And so, I think this is just like a seed into something worse to come with these bigger companies, or at least these bigger IPs.
I think. Yeah, with the bigger IPs, I think we're going to see less and less story content. I think we're almost probably going to see virtually no story DLC for any of these games.
No.
Ever.
And unfortunately, 5 years from now, I think it's going to get worse. You may have to look this up, but allegedly a big studio director at Ubisoft left the company because Ubisoft was making plans for the next Far Cry to be free-to-play.
Ugh.
And EA's already doing that with Skate. Skate is free-to-play, and they are pulling this bullshit where it's like, oh, it's not going to be pay-to-win. It's all going to be this, and that. When it's still going to be pay-to-win, they're going to go I'm going to guess, I'm going to call it right now, that they're going to go the route of Assassin's Creed, where, yes, Assassin's Creed is technically not pay-to-win, but the grind is Skate. But the grind is going to be so long that EA is going to be, hey, here is an XP booster pack. It's not pay to win, just gives you a little more XP so you level up faster and get more stuff faster. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. I'm calling it right now at 9 o'clock at night on September 2nd, 2022. That is what's going to happen.
You know, the sad thing is you're probably right. And for me, a free-to-play game is a non-starter. Like, I will just never play it, because here I'll boil it down simply. So I'm a collector at heart. If I can't own a physical copy of it that I can play offline, it's already one notch against it, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like playing online-only games. I don't like any of that shit. But, you know, the final nail in the coffin for it, though, is free-to-play games have typically a very poor structure to them. There's a lot of just fluff and grinding, and I don't want that. I want to be able to walk into a store, if I felt like it, buy a used copy of Assassin's Creed or something, pop it in, and play it. And I could play it offline. I don't have to log on online. I don't have to worry about the servers being shut down. And
that's another big problem.
With a free-to-play game, 10 years from now, if that game didn't blow up and take off, it's gone. Those servers have likely been shut down. There's no offline stuff for it, guaranteed.
I don't think Anthem is accessible anymore.
You wouldn't surprise me that they did that with, was it Battleborn?
Yeah, Battleborn.
Yeah, they shut that down. They could have because you could play that game single player, they could have allowed you to continue playing it, but because of the way they set up that game, when those servers went down, offline or not, you can't access that game anymore. And that's such BS to me. And they're going to do this with these free-to-play games.
Oh, absolutely.
So people can have their fun with it. I think that's my bowing out point on any series that decides to go free-to-play. That's my, have fun. I'm out.
Indie Games is going to produce the next generation of amazing games. These small studios, AA games, and everything. Like you saw Gamescom, didn't you?
No.
there's a game that I've been kind of following off and on for a while called Atomic Heart,
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
and I'm fascinated by that game. It's made by a Russian studio, and it looks like a beautiful. It's like BioShock and Fallout had a baby,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I am fascinated by it.
I think a lot of the good games that have been coming out lately that have really caught my attention are either complete indie or they are like AA studios.
Yeah, like one of the games we'll be discussing tonight.
Yeah.
So, which by the way, tonight we'll be discussing Little Nightmares 2 and a bigger game, Portal. But before we get into that, Connor, let's get physical.
Maybe.
What? What'd you do?
What did I do?
What did I do last night?
I closed out of the thingy.
I cried myself to sleep.
So, I will preface this by saying this was supposed to be a pretty small week for Let's Get Physical. And literally in the past, 3 days, every single day, there has been new game announcements that have just shadow dropped. So
just get ready for Broke Vember, people.
yeah. So I'm going to try to, cover some of these games. Keep in mind that because these kind of shadow dropped and some of them will already be on sale by the time this releases, they might be sold out by then, but I did my best, okay?
You did your best.
I tried. Okay, so let's start. The first game is Inked, A Tale of Love, which is approximately $31. It's on Switch and approximately $21 on PS4. It's a Red Art Games exclusive, but you can get it at Video Games Plus as well. There's only 2,900 copies of the Switch version and 1,000 copies of the PS4 version. There's 2,900 copies, and the first 1,000 will include a notebook.
Cool.
Yeah. But I think the PS4 copy was in limited quantities, lower than the Switch one. I forgot to grab that. But Inked is a tale of love and hope told in ink and paper. In this story-driven puzzle game, the players will play as the nameless hero who sets out on a journey in a vast and beautiful landscape filled with puzzles for them to solve. Each puzzle takes the players closer to their lost love, unraveling a story that's heartwarming and enchanting.
I think I've seen this game. I think this is one of the games where I almost chose as one of the games to play at one point. I need to see a screenshot of it to be sure, but this sounds really familiar. At first I was gonna make a joke inked and a tale of love, that those two words don't go good together.
Yeah.
But then as you started reading it, I was like, I think I've seen this game.
Yeah. And pre-orders for that one started September 1st. So
okay,
that's
cool.
already out. The next one is Go-Go Coco Polo Harmonious Forest Revenge. It's $35, only on 3DS. It's a limited run games exclusive that's limited to 2,500 copies. Get ready for a brand new experience in arcade action. The world's first chase 'em up Go-Go Coco Polo. Set across 80 stages of pure arcade mayhem, help the hyperactive wildcat Coco Polo exact revenge on those responsible for disturbing his peaceful afternoon slumber in an epic action-packed caper. Pre-orders started September 2nd, so as we're recording it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also another game called Go-Go Coco Polo 3D Space Recipe for Disaster. That one's also $35, only on 3DS. Limerick Games exclusive, limited to 2,500 copies. They used the same description for both of those, which is weird. So anyway, I won't repeat that. But pre-orders started September 2nd. There's a dual pack available for $70 that includes both of them and a slipcover, and a collector's edition for $100. The collector's edition includes a slipcover, soundtrack, sticker sheet, and collector's coin, as well as both games.
Nice.
Yep. The next one is the Journey Down Trilogy, approximately $41. It's on Switch. There's going to be 2,000 units for Switch and 999 for PS4. It's a strictly limited exclusive. The Journey Down Trilogy is a classic point-and-click adventure with an African-Caribbean vibe. Help Buana and his friends Kito and Lena to find the lost journal which will lead to a great journey of enigmatic adventures and unsolved mysteries. In the jungles of the mysterious Underland lurk secrets that foreshadow an unstoppable evil of great power. Together with Buana, Quito, and Lena, unravel the mystery of the Underland and be prepared for many exciting puzzles that will accompany you on your journey. A limited edition is also available for $61 approximately and includes a necklace, art book, tree map, soundtrack, and recipe card. Pre-order started September 3rd.
All right. And I just want to go in. I have not seen Inked, A Tale of Love. I was thinking of the game Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Yeah.
So
I do want to play Chicory as well.
I do too. I didn't mean to derail you. Go ahead.
You're good, man. The next game is Miracle Snack Shop for $30. It's only on Switch, a PlayAsia exclusive. Developed by Tail Shop, Miracle Snack Shop allows players to manage their very own snack shop while exploring the magic and stories of the in-game characters throughout their own journey, including fully voiced dialogue from the original Korean and Japanese voice actors.
Cool.
Miracle Snack Shop will have you falling in love with the characters and your newfound snack shop profits. A limited edition will also be available for $40, limited to 3,000 units, and will include a soundtrack, acrylic standees, a Switch case keychain, art cards, and a collector's box. Pre-orders start September 5th. The next one really got my attention. It's called Necro Barista. It's approximately $34. It's only on Switch. It's a Super Rare Games exclusive, limited to 4,000 copies. In this back alley cafe in Melbourne, the dead are granted one last night to mingle with the living while enjoying a nice steaming hot cup of coffee. Inspired by film and anime alike, Necro Barista is a unique take on the visual novel medium. Follow a dynamic and diverse cast of characters as they navigate Melbourne's hipstery coffee culture, the questionable ethics of necromancy, and the process of letting go. Pre-orders start September 8th.
Nice.
Yes, sir. The next one is a big one, Splatoon 3. That one is $60. It's only on Switch, and it says, ink up the Splatlands in the new Splatoon game. Enter the Splatlands, a sun-scorched desert inhabited by battle-hardened Inklings and Octolings. Splatsville, the city of chaos, is the adrenaline-fueled heart of the dusty wasteland. Even in this desolate environment, turf wars reign supreme, and battles rage in the new stages located in the surrounding wilds. Dynamic new moves help these fighters dodge attacks and cover more ground, along with a new bow-shaped weapon to sling ink. Releases September 9th.
I'm looking forward to this. I've never played Splatoon. Maybe I gotta borrow it sometime. Maybe I gotta borrow it sometime.
Yeah, I have. Well, you can't really play the first one because it's on Wii U, but I have the second one on Switch, I think.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The next game is Ruiniverse, $35. It's on PS4, which is sold out currently, and PS5. It's a limited run games exclusive. It says, follow Kit, a kind-hearted transporter, and his vivacious childhood friend, Allie, as they team up with a third-rate swindler, a quack physician, and a ditzy dwarf to travel the world in their quest to save Allie from a plight that threatens her very existence while experiencing their moments of triumph and hardship and what is sure to be an unforgettable journey for RPG lovers everywhere. Yeah. Pre-orders end September 11th.
Nice. This looks interesting.
Yeah. The next one I know you're going to want.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's Doom Eternal.
Doom fucking Eternal.
For $60. It's only on Switch at this point. Limited run games exclusive. Experience the ultimate combination of speed and power in Doom Eternal. The next leap in first-person combat powered by id Tech 7. Armed with a shoulder-mounted flamethrower, wrist-mounted blade, upgraded guns, new abilities, and more, you're the greatest demon slayer in existence. A Steelbook edition is available for $80, which includes a Steelbook and the slipcover. A Special edition is available for $115 and includes a Special edition box, Steelbook, poster, sticker sheet, gate key, and helmet keychain. And an Ultimate edition is available for $175, which includes everything from the Special edition, plus additional art cards and a replica shotgun.
Is that life-size replica shotgun?
I do not know. Pre-orders end on that one for on September 11th.
I'm so excited for this. I have the first Doom on Switch. For one, it's impossible to find it on the Switch now. I got very, very lucky, and I was at a relatively small town GameStop, and like the Slayer edition, which has, I think, Doom 2016 and then Doom 3 and the other Dooms together in a pack. I was like, I gotta get this, even though I already have Doom 1 and 2 and 3 from a previous I almost said let's get physical limited run game, but this has Doom 2016 included in the package. I've got to get this, so I picked it up, and I've been wanting to see how it runs on Switch.
Yeah, I really want to have at some point every Doom game on the Switch, and I think I'm almost there with this one. So
Yeah.
I'm excited
Me
for
too.
it. I maybe have all of the Doom games on PS4 that are available. I have like the VFR game. I have Doom.
That might be fun.
I have Doom VR, which is the Doom 2016 in VR, which could be very interesting too. And then I have Doom Eternal on the PS5 upgrade. So
Yeah, which I need to pick that up again. I knew that the PS5 upgrade of Doom Eternal had some issues with it technical wise, but I'm pretty sure that was last year.
You'd hope they'd fix it.
I'm pretty sure they would have fixed it by now. Like it is usually pretty good at being open and honest about shit. So they probably fixed it by now, but we gotta. I know it's longer than our usual like 10 hours, but we gotta do a Doom game sometime.
I think actually I've put some of the Doom games on my I have a backlog set for us of short games, and I think some of the older Doom games are
just because they were limited to the power of the computers at the time, so they couldn't be as long. But I would love to play like Doom 2016 again, and then I would love to play Doom Eternal again.
Yeah,
I played the shit out of Doom Eternal, and I have the DLCs for it too.
It could be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we might have to bend the rules a little bit for Doom. Because the game feels really fast, like because you're having so much fun with it, and the boss fights are really good. The game feels like it's relatively fast.
Yeah,
so
it's very fast paced, I think.
Well, both in gameplay and like how time wise it feels fast.
Yeah.
So, like I know it's like a 16-hour game, but I got probably 3/4 of the way through it, probably in maybe a day and a half.
Dang.
So, but let's get physical. Let's move on. So let's first discuss about Little Nightmares 2, Connor. So Little Nightmares 2, literally not too far off the heels of the first Little Nightmares. This was developed by Tarsier Studios and released in 2021. You can generally beat this in about 5.5 hours, maybe a little bit longer if you're having issues navigating, which we will get into. And you can get this for PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. So this takes place before the first game, where you play as a character named Mono. 6, the character in the first game, you'd work together to escape what is called the Pale City. And that's all we know about this. So this plays pretty similar to the first game, in terms of like movement and everything. But what's different is that 6 is with you almost the entire game, which we thought that would be that would open for co-op.
Yeah.
But no. I think as the game goes on, you realize that co-op would be a janky mess.
Yeah, and it wouldn't make sense at a certain point.
No, it doesn't. But she's with you throughout most of the game. Without taking away any of the challenges. A lot of the time, she kind of makes just the puzzles a little bit easier, because she'll grab things to help you solve the puzzle and complete that part for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes things a little bit easier. What's also different in this game is there are sections where you can fight back. I use that in quotes, like with the flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
And there are hammers that you can use to crush enemies the same size as you.
And an axe.
And then
you get the TV remote.
Yeah, which we will get into. We will get into in a little bit. So, and graphically, this game is gorgeous. This art, I love the art style to the Little Nightmare games. And I'm not sure if it always looked this good, or if we were just constrained to the Switch. Because even on the Switch, it didn't look too bad.
Yeah, I thought the first game looked pretty good on Switch. We had, our performance issues, but visually, I thought the game looked just fine. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, because we played Little Nightmares 2 on the PS5, I'd be curious to at some point pop in. I have the Switch version. We can play that and see how it compares.
Yeah, both in graphically and the load times, because we had issues because I can't remember right now what episode it was, but Connor and I's major complaint with the first game playing on the Switch was the load times were atrocious. We timed it. It was about 40 seconds of load times between deaths. And this is a game where trial and error is kind of a thing. And so having a 40-second loading screen is really punishing. However, on the PS5, it was instantaneous. Like, we would die, boom, it's done.
Yeah.
So
it was probably like 2 to 3 seconds, and honestly, it wasn't the game loading. It was just the character animation of getting back up off the ground.
Yeah.
And,
So, and like the previous game, the atmosphere is super grim, dark, and immersive.
Yeah.
Like it's still a 2.5D. No, it's still 3D, isn't it? Would you count it as a 3D?
I would say so, because you can go in all different directions.
Yeah. So, with a 3D platformer like this, there's so much happening in the background. There's so much detail and storytelling in the background that's just so immersive. And the sound design is so good. I strongly recommend you guys to play this game with headphones. I played this game with my 3D headphones for my PS5, and it made the experience so much scarier and so much just better. So
interesting.
And only that, the game is much scarier, and I feel like the monsters are much more grotesque looking.
Yeah.
And it feels like the developers had a discussion when creating this game on what would be horrifying if you were just 6 inches tall. Because you have a school, you have a hospital, you have rooftops, and then you're in some kind of weird dimension near the end. I'm not sure what the deal with that was. And each one of them has a gimmick to it. So, like, the school has a teacher that stretches her fucking neck.
Yeah, they all have, like, a main enemy, basically, too.
So, I want to kind of go beat by beat here to kind of give our thoughts on each of these gimmicks. So, actually, I did leave out this one in the notes. It was the beginning in the forest where you had the guy with the shotgun.
Yeah. I forgot about that myself.
Yeah, because we started this game when we fell off of it, and then we kind of jumped back in when we suggested it for the show. So the gimmick with that is basically the hunter has a flashlight, or I'm sorry, a lantern, and you have to hide behind boxes to dodge his light. Otherwise, she'll shoot you with a shotgun. It's still, it's not that scary. It's just more stress-inducing.
Yeah.
But once you get into the school, for one, 6 gets separated. She gets ganked by wooden dolls.
With little porcelain heads. They're creepy.
Yeah. They're called bullies in the world. And then you have this teacher that's, she's not really gangly, but she's
like an older woman. Yeah.
Like a classic 1940s school teacher.
Yeah.
Her proportions in her face are just off. Like it hits that uncanny valley. But she can stretch out her neck and look around corners.
She's a lot like the stretchy arm guy from the first game, where if you're in like a vent or something, she can stretch her head in there, whereas he could stretch his hands in there and try to get you.
Yeah. And then you have as I mentioned earlier, you have these wooden dolls that will gang up on you. Sometimes you have to run away from them. Other times you have a hammer or a pipe, and you can smash the little porcelain heads to kill them.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then the next section, you're in a hospital. I think this one was the scariest.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because it has disembodied doll hands that crawl around.
Yeah, what's the thing from the Addams Family?
Thing.
Yeah, like Thing.
That shit scared me as a kid.
Oh yeah, it's a freaking hand just crawling around.
Like in the show and even in the cartoon, like he's a really nice, nice. I don't know, thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But oh god, the movie with just.
That's how creepy that hand was.
I know.
And it'll like bob and weave when you're trying to hit it with the hammer.
And there's even an achievement to where after you kill it, you just keep smashing it.
Yeah.
That's what I did on Instinct. And I love when developers put in achievements that they accommodate to players who would do that. Because people who are afraid of shit like that, you know that they will keep hitting that thing even though it's already dead. And the developers put in that achievement for those players.
Those are one of the only kind of achievements I like. Those and ones for doing something dumb or funny.
Exactly.
Like, those are the only achievements I care about.
Mm-hmm. And then you have the flashlight mannequins that will move in the dark, but if you shine their flashlight, they will stop. And the way they move is just like, I can't describe how they move. How would you describe how they move?
Kind of like stuttery, like almost like a zombie, really.
Yeah.
And they move faster than you would think. They go from being kind of slow to like suddenly like tottering towards you.
There's an acceleration time for them.
It's creepy.
Yeah. And then after you leave that part of the hospital, I guess it's still kind of a part of the hospital. You enter the morgue with the ceiling crawler.
Yeah, this big dude who's heavy breathing and crawling on the ceiling.
And he will lift. If he hears you, he will lift up the beds to try to find you. And
that was probably the scariest thing in that game, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah.
What about Slender Man? It was not Slender Man, but it's basically Slender Man.
Basically, tall dude in a suit with like creepy, ghostly entity. You know, like he's basically Slenderman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, he was creepy too. Just kind of slowly following you.
Right. So, like this game, I loved this game. There were a few issues with it. Some issues that the last game had. Loading times aside, the game sometimes doesn't quite nudge you in a direction clear enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand in a puzzle-ish game, like you don't want to give the solution, but usually there are ways you can nudge your player in a certain direction, and we will discuss this further when we talk about Portal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the game kind of didn't really do that. Like there are some times where, like when we were dealing with the TV Portal situation, there was an electrified flooring that we can jump over, but the game really wasn't clear enough to show you that you can jump back. I felt like we were stuck.
Yeah, it seemed like you couldn't make that jump backwards.
Because literally the section before was cut off and you couldn't go back to that section.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just stuff like that. Movement can also be frustrating sometimes. Navigating the 3D space can be confusing with certain camera angles. Like you get stuck on the environment a lot.
Depth perception is a real struggle with these kind of games.
The flashlight aiming with the mannequin section was weird.
Yeah.
And the section where you're walking through the hallways and the mannequins are reaching through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Depth perception. It was hard to know if I was far enough away from them or if I was too close.
Yeah. I think we also had the issues of just various items and textures popping in and out.
And your character getting stuck and doing that weird janky thing, which is funny because I didn't experience that when I was playing this game on my own.
Yeah, and the big one was when that big guy was coming after us and we capture him in an incinerator and then he just disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
That was weird.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a few others too where like you had a weapon that was on the ground and it just disappeared.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff was a little janky, and I have no idea why it was happening when we were playing it together versus, you know.
I guess there's just this weird electricity in the air when we get together, man.
Oh yeah. Sparks were flying, as some would say.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
You are home.
I want you to leave my home.
But that's Little Nightmares, guys. I highly recommend this game. This is especially with the spoopy season coming up, this is a perfect Halloween game. Like play the first one as well, but play it on anything but the Switch.
Yeah.
So, but these two games are perfect for the Halloween season. I might play it through again for the Halloween season.
What would you give it?
Oh, this is like a 9 out of 10 for me.
I was gonna say the same 9.
This like the game was good. The music, like your wife was like, "Wow, this music is really good."
She doesn't even like horror games.
Man, I think that was the fun part. Because when we were finishing up this game, our wives were watching us, and they were getting kind of freaked out.
Oh yeah.
My wife has a little bit more nerves of steel, but she did not like Slender Man at all.
No.
But let's move on to a big game, Portal, the first one specifically.
Oh no.
What?
I said, oh no.
Obviously, this is developed by Valve. I didn't verify this, but I believed it was released in 2006, maybe 2008. You can beat this in about 3 hours, and you can get this for PC, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and very soon the Switch, I believe.
I think it might already be out on the Switch.
You might have to verify that. So if by some chance you don't know the story to Portal, here it is. Chell, a test subject in a facility testing Portal technology, she used to solve puzzles to win some cake at the end of the test. And if by some chance you don't know this gameplay, you shoot portals, solve puzzles, dodge obstacles, boom, done. So, I have most of this game burned into my brain because I played the shit out of this when it came out. This game, I don't know if do you remember the orange box at all, Connor?
Yeah, I have the orange box digitally.
This is where it was debuted. I got the orange box physically for Xbox for Christmas.
I wish I had that physically.
You can't find it anywhere. I'm curious to see how much it is on eBay.
I'd love to see if we could stumble across. Here's this. If you ever stumble across a version of it that's not hyper expensive out in the wild, grab it for me and I'll give you the muns.
Orange box. Let's see. eBay. I'm curious here. What? It's only apparently $24.99 used at GameStop, but
out of stock or in stock?
It doesn't say. But I'm on eBay, and you can apparently buy it new for only $40. So I guess it's not as valuable.
I mean, that's still pretty good for a 360 game, because a lot of 360 games did not hold their value. Like most of mine are only worth like $5 or less.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's because you can still freely access the games in the orange box, like digitally, on Steam.
And they were doing sales on the orange box back in the day, probably around the 2012, 2013, or 14 era. I think I grabbed it for like 80% off or something like that on the Xbox store.
Mm-hmm.
So I have it digitally. But I don't know if it's... I'll have to double check. I wonder if you can play it on the Series X.
Interesting.
That would be fun.
Yeah. But anyway, so this game debuted on the orange box. Oh, did you hit your funny bone?
Don't. Just go on.
Oh, I just saw your face. You're like, fuck!
I was going to play it off like nothing happened.
But, okay, no more derails. So, and when this game debuted, it was a smash hit. This was this was the favorite of the orange box. And because this was something that was never done before, that I want to know, like, they'll explain it in the commentary in the game, but the work it had to take to shoot a portal and have that portal basically render what the other portal is doing in real time, that couldn't have been an easy task to do.
Yeah.
This is for me, this is still a very good game, but I feel like it lost a lot of its magic due to the community and the people, and people basically touching themselves to it. Like, I remember for a long time, people's like signature was the cake is a lie. Kind of like the whole arrow to the knee route when Skyrim came out.
Okay.
What was your reaction to this? Because I know you played the first game.
Second game.
I'm sorry, the second game. but you never played the first game. What did you think of the first game?
So, I guess to start, I played it on the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck has because it was made by Valve. They have their own custom profile for it where you can actually use gyroscopic controls if you want.
Interesting.
I didn't think it worked very well. I disabled it and just used regular controls. But my opinions on this game, you could have told me this game came out recently, and I would almost believe you. Because visually, this game still looks really good, in my opinion. I don't know if they've made updates to it over the years to keep it looking good, but I feel like when I played it on the Steam Deck, this looked like a fairly modern game. I didn't feel like it looked old. The only thing that really held it back for me was there was a lot of loading that took a little longer than I thought it should have, especially on the Steam Deck's, NVMe that it has in it.
I feel like that's always been kind of a thing with Valve games. Like there's a lot of loading screens in the Half-Life games. But I feel like, because at least with Half-Life 2 and its expansions, those environments are fairly big and there's a lot to explore. When you mention that, I feel like the first Portal has a less of an excuse because the test chambers generally aren't very big compared to the second game, at least.
Yeah. I think also, while I enjoyed doing all of the puzzles, there was never a point where I was bored playing this game. I was interested in this game the entire time, and I pretty much played it. I played about 90% of it in one sitting, and then I finished it over lunch the next day.
The game goes down so easy.
It does. I will say the difficulty and the complexity of the puzzles doesn't seem balanced, maybe? I thought everything all the way up until about level 18 was just super easy. It didn't take me more than 5-10 seconds to figure out what was going on in every single one of them and to act upon those. When it got to around 18, I noticed that there were a few puzzles that had a very similar effect to how Ever Forward made me feel and some puzzles, where it was I can solve the puzzle this way, but it doesn't feel right that I'm solving it this way. Am I doing the right thing? I questioned myself when I was playing it, am I doing the right thing? Am I solving this puzzle the right way? And I don't know if that's just because the game would allow you to maybe break it a little bit and do some things that maybe you shouldn't, but I definitely had a little bit of that. You mentioned how in Little Nightmares, the puzzles didn't always lead you. I'd say in the last couple levels, I was not sure where I was supposed to go on a few of them. The one that really got me was it's when you're heading towards to fight the final battle with GLaDOS, you are walking through these halls, and there is this turret that shoots rockets, and it's in a totally other room.
I know which one you're talking about immediately.
And when you go out and around the corner, there's this little hole in the wall, but it's just out of reach. In theory, if a game made any actual sense, your character could definitely grab and climb up, but you couldn't grab and climb up. And there's nothing in the room. So I went back to all the different rooms, and there was nothing. Well, along the ceiling where I didn't look, there was a tube that every once in a while would shoot across a companion cube, and you had to put a portal up near the ceiling and then put a portal where the rocket turret was and then coax the rocket turret to shoot that tube and drop you a companion cube. That one, I felt like they could have hinted at a little better, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the story was interesting. The banter between you and GLaDOS is very interesting, especially during that final fight scene.
Well, Chell doesn't really banter, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's talking shit to you, And I only really got mad one time, and it was my own stupid fault. I had solved the final battle. You're timed on, right? And you have to go back and forth between knocking a piece off of GLaDOS, dropping it in an incinerator, and then getting the rockets to shoot it again, and then take it and put it in the incinerator. And I went to go and save because I was going to put my controller down for a minute and go get a drink. And I hit restart mission and had to restart the whole thing.
No.
And I tell you, not the game's fault, right? But man, I like hit my desk so hard, I swear I was going to crack it. Like, I was just so mad because I had got all the way. It was almost the end of the fight. Like, I had one piece to drop in the incinerator. And I did fail that mission a couple times. But I think the reason I failed it was not because I didn't understand the puzzles. Was because I had a hard time on the Steam Deck aiming the portal gun well enough to aim the portal underneath GLaDOS's part and drop it into the thing. So I would get like off to the side or off to the other side, and I just it was frustrating. So I wish the controls were a little tighter, but a lot of Valve games in that time period, I think the controls aren't super tight. Like Left 4 Dead is a good example.
Because I honestly think like they made it for PC first.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
But yeah, I always love how early, like I say early Valve games, but Valve games, because I don't think Valve really makes games anymore.
They made Alex.
Yeah, true, but I haven't played that, and you need a VR system for that.
Yep.
Which I would pay money if they made a VR less Alex and just made it like a traditional WASD shooter.
I'm still shocked they haven't. They hid it behind a VR paywall. That's like,
But anyway, I've always loved how Valve teaches you how to play their game. This is one of those games where you absolutely had to be crystal clear on how the mechanics of this game works. And what I love about Valve is that they play test the shit out of their games. Because for like I said this in a previous episode. Early gameplay showed that players thought they could only enter through the orange portal and exit out of the blue, and so they're trying to solve puzzles that way. And so they built a tutorial level to where you would enter through an orange portal, and then the very next section you had control of the orange portal to the point where you had to go through a blue.
Yeah.
To show that you can enter and exit through whatever one you want. That is brilliant tutorial design. And even leading up to the final battle with GLaDOS, like, yeah, you had issues with your rocket turret, but you saw how the rocket turret worked. It locked on, there was a delay, and then it would shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And all these mechanics came together. You already know how they work for the boss fight. That is very good training.
Mm-hmm.
That I feel like there's not a lot of that in games anymore.
Yeah. I don't know if they really trained you how to take out the turrets, because that took me a little trial and error to figure out how to deal with them.
You just gotta knock them over.
Knock them over. I found the best way to do it, especially on that level where there's like a bajillion turrets in all different areas, is you have to get shot like once or twice, pop over real quick, shoot a portal right behind it, and then come through the portal and just pick it up and just drop it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing with all of them.
Yeah. So this game is still a 10 out of 10 for me. I love this game. I just kind of wish the community didn't kind of ruin the magic.
I don't have maybe the same level. I mean, maybe it's because I played the second game first. I would definitely give this one like an 8.5.
I could see that because the second game like I turned it up to 11.
Yeah, I loved the second game. I really want to actually play through that again someday. But
if the servers are still up, we should hop on our PCs and play the co-op.
Oh, there's almost certainly the server still up for that. I mean,
that'd be
Valve,
so much fun.
you know. But yeah, we should do that. I could even play it on my Steam Deck probably.
Ooh,
Steamy.
So steamy. But I think that'll just about do it, you guys. Like and subscribe if you like the show. Or if you don't like the show, tell your friends. Maybe they'll like the show.
Yeah, probably.
So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.